Before I start, I just want to add a bit of a disclaimer that these are my experiences and my opinions, and I'm not speaking on behalf of every trans person that's ever been in the military or will be in the military or etc. So please just keep that in mind as you listen to what I have to say. Some of you already know this, but I've never discussed it on this channel for a reason. I didn't feel safe until now to talk about these things because as of January 5th, 2014, my 4-year contract with the Air Force is over. I joined the military in January 2010, and at the time, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was not repealed, and I was identifying as a lesbian. It was really difficult living in the closet, and not just living in the closet, but also living in fear of coming out of the closet because I could very well have lost my job. It was about 4 months after Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed that I came to terms with my trans identity. The military considers transgender individuals to be mentally unstable and medically unfit for service. It's very possible to be discharged for being transgender in the military, and depending on your leadership, it can be dishonorable. I did seek out help from the military at one point at the beginning of coming to terms with my trans identity. I had a lot of fear with going in to see the medical health professionals on base because they are obligated to report things that would make me unfit for service. So when I went in, I was very cautious at first, but it didn't take long for me to just blurt everything out. After I was done spilling my heart out to her, she looked me in the eyes and she said, "So how long have you known that you liked women?" Which is obviously not at all what I went in there for. I'm sure you can see why this would be problematic. I gave her a very confused look and she stared me back and said, "Sometimes it can be difficult for women who like women." I just nodded my head for the rest of the time that I spent with her, and then I never went back. I sought out therapy outside of the base, outside of the military, and I paid for it out of pocket because my medical insurance is through the military, and they would not have allowed me to see a gender counselor without a reference, and there was obviously no way I was going to get a reference from the military. I spent almost 2 years of my military contract in the closet as transgender. It was extremely difficult for me. When it comes to who you love, that kind of stuff doesn't come up on a daily basis in a professional setting, or it shouldn't. But gender does. Gender comes up in almost every single conversation, and if you know anything about the military, you probably know that they are extremely, extremely gendered. It's ma'am this, sir that, all day long. Your gender is very much a part of the environment in a military setting. So it was very difficult. It wasn't just about being in the closet, with who I loved, because that was a lot easier to deal with. It wasn't easy to deal with, but it was a lot easier because I wasn't having to constantly deny that portion of myself. Every time somebody said ma'am, every time we were split up between men and women, every time I used the restroom, I had to submit. I had to deny who I truly was, and that was not easy for me. And I didn't have support because I couldn't go to people, and I couldn't, even if I did go to my leadership and ask, for what I felt I needed to be emotionally stable within my job, they couldn't have helped me because of the view that the military has on transgender individuals. I've learned so much from the military. I've learned so much about myself and about how I fit into the world and how to be independent. I've had experiences that I truly believe that I would have never had I not been in the military. I just think there are some things that the military can provide that civilian life will never be able to provide for individuals. I do not regret joining the military. If I went back, I would definitely do it again. I did have a lot of people ask questions, especially within the last year of my military contract. But people see what they want to see. If you're looking at somebody and you're expecting to see something, that is what you will see. I was fortunate enough to not run into any sort of problems. There were points in time where certain people and even leadership started asking questions, but I was able to deflect them. So my advice to people that are in the military right now and are questioning their gender, I would say to do what you need to do. There was a point in time for me where it literally was a matter of life and death. There just was no other option for me at that point. I had to do it. So I would say, do what you need to do to be healthy and to be happy and to live. My advice for trans individuals who are thinking about joining the military, my advice to you is don't. You are selecting a life of oppression. At this point, I don't see that it would be worth it at all to live without support and to live constantly denying who you are. If you are a trans individual who is completely fine with being misgendered and misunderstood, if you have no issue with that whatsoever and you're dying to join the military, then by all means, go ahead. But living in the closet will end up taking its toll, and you need to be ready for that if that's a choice that you're going to make. A lot of people in the military are not educated on the community as a whole, let alone the trans portion of the community. And the military is always going to be years behind the general public. In the future, I believe that trans people will be allowed to serve openly, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Again, this is all just my opinion. This is all just my experiences. I'm not trying to talk on behalf of you or on behalf of the people that are in the military now who are transgender. This is just how I feel, and this is just my honest and open opinion. I'm not trying to tell you what to do or how to live your life, but I have had some people ask my opinion, and this is it. So if you do have any questions that are prompted from what I have said, please feel free to ask me, and I will try my best to answer those as honestly as possible. I hope this was helpful to some people. Thanks for watching.